sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. You've probably not heard of James Barrie, but you very likely have heard of J.M. Barrie, the author who lived here from 1883 to 1884. He used to leave this house every morning and walk down into Nottingham through to the Arboretum, and that's where we've got a story to tell. So come with us and we'll go to the Arboretum and we'll tell you some more. We're at the Arboretum, a regular walk for J.M. Barrie. To us it seems a bit of a funny route into town, into the city, but this is where he used to walk daily, either on a preamble to work or after work to take in the air. Nice big green open space in the city centre. He believed the park, the Arboretum, was Barrie's inspiration for Neverland. In his best known work, Peter Pan. And as we'll see in a few minutes, there's something here that probably inspired him to write about Captain Hook and the pirates in the story.
But it's a park that we don't come to because it's in the centre of town and not quite on any of our routes, is it?
I've never been here, and I've been here, 19 years now. I've certainly never been to the Arboretum.
I think you've been once. I think we've done a geocaching here.
Have we?
Yeah. There's various monuments in the Arboretum. This one's to Fergus O'Connor, an MP, erected by his admirers in 1859.
It's a different spelling of Fergus that I've not seen before. Fergus.
Fergus. Yes. I don't know whether you pick it out in the shadow.
This is known as the Chinese bell tower. And the cannons on here are the cannons that are thought to have stirred Barrie's imagination, that became the nug of the Captain Hook part of his story. But there's a lot more to these cannons and the bell up there than just J.M. Barrie. We'll see if we can head a little bit closer up to have a look.
Now it says there that the cannon were taken from Sebastopol during the Crimean War of 1854 to 55, I think that says there, and presented on behalf of the British foresters to the town of Nottingham. And the writing around the bell tower is Russian and Chinese, I think, this, if I remember rightly.
And there is a reason for that, why there's Chinese writing on there. As I say, it is called the Chinese bell tower. It looks like there is a path we can get up. So 2 of these cannons are original, and they were taken, as Keith says, in Sebastopol. But the other 2 are replicas.
Can we spot the difference?
This place was designed as a war memorial, and it was built in The original bell was looted by British troops from a temple in Canton during the Anglo-Chinese War, otherwise known as the Opium War of 1857 to 1861. Say that was the second Opium War, there was one before it. The war was fought over the right to import opium to China, and it led to the legalisation of the opium trade. The first Opium War was in 1839 and lasted till 1842. The original bell was moved to Preston in Lancashire in 1956, and it now resides in the museum, the Lancashire Infantry Museum. There's some strange facts or interesting facts about the Opium War, or the Second Opium War. Not only was it called that, it was also called the Anglo War, or the Second China War, or the Arrow War, as well as the Anglo-French expedition to China. And it pitted the British and French empires against China, all for the sake of opium. The original bell was made from steel and silver. So hardly surprising it was moved to somewhere safe eventually. It's very peaceful here.
It is.
There's a lot more to this park though, to the Arboretum as it's known, than just that.
Well, being an arboretum, it's obviously about trees. How many species of trees did you say?
67 different species of trees in the Arboretum. 65 different species of trees in the Arboretum. There's a bandstand where concerts are still put on occasionally. It's not the original one. It was replaced a good few years ago. And the Arboretum stands in 17 acres. On his way to work every morning, James Barrie used to see street urchins, and there was one particular boy who never seemed to change in appearance, so you could say that he never appeared to grow up. Now, whether that little boy was an inspiration for Peter Pan, we don't know. Very well could have been the boy that never grew up. And I always get this story a little bit wrong, but Keith will get it right. The story about Wendy.
Wendy?
Wendy.
Well, Wendy was, the name Wendy was invented by J.M. Barrie.
It was, because some children he knew I can't remember the actual name of this lady or young woman that these children knew, but they couldn't pronounce the name. So it ended up being, not the best word to use, but bastardised by the children.
A mishmash.
Changed, mixed.
A mishmash.
Mishmashed. Mixed,
Mash.
Yeah.
One of them.
One of them. So it sounded a little bit like Wendy. So that's where Barrie came up with that name. And now it's a popular name for girls, or was more popular, I would say, in the early to mid 20th century. Less popular now, but we do know some Wendy's. So here we are at the bandstand.
It seems a thing, isn't it? The parks in Nottingham tend to have bandstands.
They do.
The one on the embankment does. Victoria Embankment. There's a big one here.
With these nice seating areas as well. A bit cold on your bum, I suppose, on a cold day. But
We've never seen anything on at the bandstands, have we? Oh yes, we have. Years ago at the Victoria Bandstand, when we lived in the Meadows, there was a festival on the riverside, and they had things on in the bandstand then. But
to be honest, we don't really look, do we?
no, we don't look.
We're not here that often. So you can just hear in the distance, and it is the far distance really, the rumble of traffic. There's nothing, it's not noisy, is it? It's still peaceful even in the 21st century. Apart from that tram. A nice information board here, or certainly nice with the leaves.
But unfortunately,
not that you can read the information board, sadly, because they've been vandalised. We have got a little bit more to find in the Arboretum.
I think it might be down there.
If you'd like us to do more videos about Nottingham, after all it's a city we live in, or we live on the outskirts of the city, let us know in the comments below, because there is a lot of history here. We've only really touched on little bits in the past. And when we're here, especially during the winter, when we're not travelling as much, I'm sure there's a lot more we can find out. One of the other things I wanted to show you in the Arboretum is this bench. If any of you watch the Netflix comedy programme Afterlife, starring Ricky Gervais, a series of benches around the country were donated where people could sit and reflect. If you don't know the programme, Ricky Gervais, or his character, lost his wife, and he used to go to a park and sit on a bench and just reflect, talk to whoever sat next to him. So Netflix, Ricky Gervais and the programme decided it'd be quite nice to donate some reflection benches around the country. And here's one here in the Arboretum. And again, sadly, slightly vandalised, but just down below it says, "Hope is everything." So, when you think you've lost everything, there is still hope. And that's the message that this bench wanted to give.
And just across the way, there's another superb building, and this is Nottingham High School. Its own war memorial, obviously dedicated to pupils who were here. An independent day school for boys and girls.
The school was founded in 1513, so it's probably one of the oldest in the country. How old was yours?
When I was there, it was 400 years, so yeah, about the same time, isn't it? 1500s.
And obviously in that time the schools had lots of famous, well-known alumni, including D.H. Lawrence, lots of other authors, politicians, cricketers. Two of the more recent politicians are Kenneth Clarke, who was an MP for Nottingham for many years, is now retired, and the other one is Ed Balls, also retired from politics. He now presents news programmes and other documentaries on TV. Jesse Boot, the founder of Boots Chemists and Pharmacies. Well, he was a pharmacist, I presume, originally. Far too many to go into. Obviously, for a school that old, there's a heck of a lot of people who've passed through these doors. Nice old building though, and the newer part, although it looks modern, it does blend in quite well.
Yeah.
The Arboretum was officially opened in May 1852. Huge crowds came. Originally, there was a charge for entry. There was quite a fuss about that, and eventually it was scrapped. Blossoms coming out.
It is. And the thought is that with him being here, and they think that this is the inspiration for Neverland, and especially with having this lake. This is the sort of the lagoon. These Peter Pan book. There's some lovely trees here though, isn't there?
There are gnarly old things.
Yeah.
A bit like us, really.
And there's an aviary here as well. Budgies, parrots, cockatiels.
You had a parrot, didn't you?
We had a parrot, yes.
I had a cockatiel. I've never had a cockatoo.
Or three.
Or four.
And there's some monuments to past residents. There's one there to Cocky, a sulphur-crested cockatoo, died 8th of March
1968.
1968, age 114.
Wow. I didn't realise they lived for that long.
There used to be a two-tier.
There are two tiers apparently still.
There are two tiers still.
The original aviary opened in 1889, and then an upper section was added in 1934, which housed tropical birds. So my cockatoo was called Spike. and I had him for years. I got him off a lady I used to work with, and he was a lovely little bird. But when I got married the first time, my wife didn't really take to him, so he ended up going to live with my sister. But have you ever heard my voice on the phone? It was on speakerphone. Or when I went to visit, he used to go mad wanting to get to me to say hello. Your parrot?
The parrots we had one, a Nande, and that escaped unfortunately. But we kept seeing it around the fields, and it had taken up with a load of pigeons, and so it would have been all right apparently.
Not apparently.
No, apparently. But the other parrot, the second parrot we had, Max, he used to bite chunks out of my fingers because he was definitely my wife's bird. And every time I went near, no, it wasn't good.
I could say something there. He wasn't your wife's only bird.
Another statue, Samuel Morley.
1809 to 1886.
Member of Parliament, merchant philanthropist, friend of children, social reformer, and a Christian citizen. If only politicians were like that these days.
Might be time for a coffee. Coffee. To say Arboretum Cafe now open.
It smells like it's open. I'm assuming that's the door. So Barrie used to work here at the Nottingham Daily Journal. He worked here from 1883 to 1884. And we always say, look up. There is a plaque there saying that he worked here. He was on the staff of the Nottingham Journal. But again, we always say, look up. And what a beautiful building that is, in the heart of Nottingham. We're just come up from the city square, Market Square, and it's just up the road from there. So this is the offices of the Nottingham Daily Journal.
The end. So this place was designated as a war memorial in 1862. No, it wasn't. Just stay there. So this place was designed as a war memorial. This place was designed as a war memorial. Take it, these are outtakes. If you have a look up there, you'll see the bell. And you'll see dragons around the edge. This place was designed as a war. This place was designed as a war.
So Barrie used to work here in this building as a journalist. It was the Yes, I know. I've just seen it. So Barrie used to work here from third time lucky.